Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to serve you with a reaction, a new edition of the reaction with me, Minkaji Prophet. I'm so happy because look, on our chopping board today, we are discussing no other conversation, no other topic than the African Cup of Nations 2025. Plus, we are heading straight to the Confederation of African Football. Let's get to find out what is the update coming from that camp and all the other news surrounding the AFCON. I'm here to serve you with it. Please, today we are taking all our stories from the mynewsanchor.com. That is the place to be. If you are not there, then I bet you are messing up, because this is the most credible website providing you with all the updates on the African Cup of Nations plus some other stories. In fact, it's a website dedicated to serve you with every content, every nitty-gritty. Even if a pin drops in Rabat, in Casablanca, in Morocco itself, Challenge is going to bring you with everything. So do well to go in there. If you have to subscribe to them. Sign up. In fact, sign up so that you become part of the family. mynewsanchor.com once again is here. In fact, they've been partnering us in the last few weeks. That's a conversation we've had. And look, this website is one that is credible. If you are looking for all your sports content, all your entertainment content, do well to join them up. And there is one thing I've been asked to tell you. They are also recruiting some new writers. If you feel like you want to write or you can write, you can just link up to them on this contact 0550513536, and they are definitely going to hook you up. They do you the needed interviews and all that. If you qualify, you have a job. You can only get this from mynewsanchor.com. Yesterday, in fact, 2 days ago, the competition was inaugurated. Beautiful inauguration. The opening ceremony. Look, in fact, this is a touch of African culture with a modern day vibe. And I was loving it. Look, thumbs up to the likes of Stoneboy and all that. In fact, you're representing Ghana. You can't. Ghana could be. Hey, yeah. It's just like wow, AFCON is equivalent to Ghana. But now you see, that brings us to the topic of when the players think that they are doing us a favor, they've actually felt it. This time when they've seen the pain. They've seen the pain. Oh, I'm up for Rabat, Morocco, playing good football. Now and then I'm hearing about European football. This time on, all eyes is on Africa. Who's yeah. Hey. I saw the day I Lagos Sports Stadium watching Legacy Rice fight. And by this time, when you play or come, he needed just one appearance to become the first player or one of the players to show up most times in the AFCON. Just one appearance. I found the call. And then we say, oh, yeah, me. Let's move on and try and come across. So, opening ceremony, we are done with it. First game, Morocco, they did their best. They struggled. In fact, there is one thing showing up in this AFCON so far. All the minnows or the underdogs have proven that yes, indeed, football with the right investment, come on, you are definitely going to reap the result. And it is showing up. Yesterday we had 3 games happening. 3 games. And then let's move straight to it. The 3 games had, if you would mind, just join me on mynewsanchor.com. In fact, after the whole game, they did a wrap. So it says AFCON 25 match day 2 wrap. Dakar denies Mali 3 points. Palancas Negras bow down to the Zulus, and Mo Salah stand Zimbabwe. Headline, we'll be I think mynewsanchor.com. Serious headline, Charlie. Now, in Kumwe, it says that AFCON 2025, match day 2 serves drama delight with a touch of culture as Mali failed to win their first group game. South Africa jumped to the summit of Group B, plus Egypt grapple against Zimbabwe. Now, look, yesterday in a Mali game, one would have thought, because I did a preview on mynewsanchor.com, and I was even saying that Mali had everything. They had everything in place to pick up 3 points against for a side a side that has barely even played football. Now for Mali, every now and then they keep on showing up. They first of all look like a potential. They would want to do something, but at the end of the day, they would slip. Look, missing a penalty in the 42nd minute wasn't a good thing at all, because that penalty could have actually changed the game. It could have led them on, giving them that comfortable lead, picking up the second goal in the second half. But that didn't happen. You miss a penalty, second half you pick up a goal, then you couldn't defend, sat down, did their mediocre lifestyle. All for what? All for what? Now for Dakar, look, Patson Dakar. Look, how can you score such a goal at such a moment? The whole stadium erupted. In fact, Malians just went like, God. They became very silent. By the end of the day, the win came. For me, it was a win for the Zambians, because picking up a point against a side like Mali, it was a win for you. You only need another win, and Charlie, you are gone. You are gone. Now let's move. For Angola, the Angolans, I won't say anything, because they are part of the reason why Ghana did not qualify. You remember their performance at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium? For over 25 years, nobody has even picked up a win against the Black Stars at the Baba Yara. They did that. They gave us a run for our money. And I remember, okay, all the ranting we're talking about, it didn't happen. Angola phone shia nye and then they should show up. They couldn't show up. It was painful. Me watching them yesterday, in fact, I wasn't happy, because they are South Africans. Their infrastructure, their football infrastructure has been top notch over the years. It's proven. In fact, I am tipping them as one of the sides to actually make serious impact in this AFCON. And for people like the Leo Foster, the Benny guy, Chalo picked up a spot, slaughtered it with a curler. In fact, a Beckham curler. And the AFCON so far has produced a lot of sumptuous, delicious goals. And we have the quality, man. We have the quality. As for the quality, this AFCON in itself is showing tactics, is showing a lot of promise. It is giving us a lot of football heritage, history. It is giving us everything football fans will need in a particular tournament, right from the inauguration till today. Into better highlights now, we've done our best, and Morocco are actually living up to the billing. They've not dropped their standards right from the last AFCON in 2023, from Cote d'Ivoire to the next one here. And that brings me to the point that what at all was the reasoning behind CAF deciding to move this tournament from 2 years to 4 years? Because every 2 years we keep on growing. Economically, it is boosting a lot of domestic commercials. Economically, look, I can tell you for a fact that if you look into the last 4 AFCONs hosted by these various respective African countries, they have actually increased. They have actually had a lot of shoot up in their gross domestic products. Their GDP has bloated up. Then why would it be that a particular tournament like this, giving us all the benefit we can ignore, we decide? Not the Europeans decided for, we have sat and decided, succumbed to unknown pressures, and decided to move the tournament to 4 years and tell us that we are introducing a new competition called the Nations League. Are we even there yet? Are we even there yet? Yesterday you saw what Mo Salah did. Giant numbers, they stand a side like Zimbabwe, who gave them a run for their. In fact, they actually held them accountable. They began playing sloppy game, and Zimbabwe showed them that Charlie, look, that guy called Prince Dube. I just saw Bomber, one of the African teams. Now I need ball. He can dilly-dallying around, making sure that defenders are actually getting tormented by an African player. What are we looking for? Is it quality? We have it in abundance. In fact, the Europeans can take them. They can go to hell. I get it. I get it. Football in itself has a certain standard, right? It has a certain standard. But we can actually uplift our standards with the right investments. We don't need anybody's approval. As a continent, we should begin to understand this. In every situation, in all our steps that we are taking, it should be directed to the freedom, the total liberation, the total emancipation of the African man. We play these games not because we want to play them. We play them because in our hearts, as one people, it serves as an avenue to come together. Look, it is only during the AFCON that is when you find African brothers, African sisters coming together. If not for the AFCON, how many times will people move from their various countries to go and meet other various African brothers? That is where people find love. That is where business partners connect. That is when sports journalists get a lot of prominence, a lot of credibility. So, for example, mynewsanchor.com is taking advantage of the AFCON, and they are doing their bit. Everybody is doing one thing or the other just to make sure that we are uplifting the game to the higher heights. Today, I can tell you for a fact, nobody is watching the Premier League anymore. Nobody is watching the Spanish La Liga. Nobody is watching the Italian Serie A. The Bundesliga, go to hell. Nobody is watching, not because they are not playing football. We are playing the best of quality football on our own soil, in our own land. So why then do we move and go and watch others? In fact, I have barely heard any platform talk about Premier League and European football. We have the men to do the work. So for CAF, and it will be in our own interest to begin to revise our own decisions. These decisions are for our own good. If I'm supposed to host a particular tournament for 4 years and hosting it 2 years, look, it serves as a platform for African countries who qualify for the FIFA World Cup. It's a preparation tournament for them every 2 years. Playing it 4 years, what platform would they even have to prepare themselves for the main tournament? Meanwhile, we always make a case that why are African countries not living up to expectation in these high-profile tournaments like FIFA World Cup? We need the best of preparations. So think through it again. Patrice Mutepe, you've done your best in terms of investment, in terms of your administration. You've done so much. So thanks for joining me. And my name again, Jacob. Do well to subscribe to our channel, please, and do well to join mynewsanchor.com. If you don't log on to it, get all your sports content. In fact, I have told you already, they are covering the AFCON to its fullest. All the stories that you need, My News Anchor got you covered. My name once more is Jacob, and I'm out. Bye.